Hi, welcome to my review of The Wolf of Wall Street, directed by Martin Scorsese, a film that is based on and follows Jordan Belfort's life and his tasteless antics as a corrupted stockbroker.
My name is Jordan Belfort. The year I turned 26, I made $49 million, which really pissed me off because it was $3 shy of $1 million a week.
We're making a name for ourselves.
Nobody knows if the stock is gonna go up, down, sideways, or in circles. You know what a fugazi is?
Oh, Fugazi, it's fake.
Yeah, fugazi, it's a wazi, it's a woozy, it's a fairy dust.
Now, before I get started with my review, I did witness something in the cinema today that I thought was something worth talking about. Throughout the time I was watching the film, during the more graphic scenes, I kept on hearing this woman saying, "Oh my god, that's so gross. Ew, that's disgusting. Oh my god." It was about a quarter and a half into the film when, during this nude scene, it wasn't even all that sexually explicit. I mean, it came later, but it was just a simple nude scene. When I hear, which I believe to be the same woman, say, "Okay, that's it, we gotta go, we gotta get up, let's get up right now, let's go." I guess she was talking to her boyfriend. I didn't really get a good look at them. Then all I see from my peripheral vision, and I kind of looked over, I see two people basically running out of the theater. Which kind of brings me to say this, okay? Did you even notice the MPAA rating? I mean, that is what it's for. You should probably look at what you're about to see. You know, if it's rated R, you might want to see why it's rated R. I say all this because, look, if you're going to be that way, then you should probably pay attention to that sort of thing, or read or watch a review and kind of know a few things about the movie before you go see it. Because as much as I would have loved to have seen this movie with my parents, considering that it is Christmas time and that is the time to spend, you know, with family, this is not the movie to go see. This movie is very sexually explicit. It does have a lot of drugs and it does have a lot of swear words and all that stuff. Now, the last two things aren't a bother in any sort of way, but the first one kind of is, and that is one of the reasons why you wouldn't want to see this with your parents. And not only that, but if you're someone who can't see the use of satire and you're someone who gets offended easily, then this movie is just not for you. The Wolf of Wall Street is meant to be offensive. You're not supposed to be rooting for these characters. You're not even supposed to like them. In fact, you're kind of supposed to hate them. And when you're laughing at these characters, because this movie is a comedy, you're not laughing with them, you're laughing at them. Like I just suggested, this film is a satire of capitalism, how, you know, the stockbrokers work and treat their clients, and how really parasitic these people are. There really is no better way to describe these characters. They're parasites. They suck the blood from the living and have nothing to contribute whatsoever. And what the film does a great job at doing is that it portrays these people as, you know, yes, they are cunning, yes, they are very smart, and yes, they have shit tons of money because they are multi-millionaires. When it all comes down to it, these people are pretty damn empty. They have nothing to live for except for drugs and partying and basically empty sex. Yes, I know some people might go, woohoo, that's great and everything, that's what life's about. And if that's your main focus and that's your main goal and that's what makes you happy, then I consider that to be quite sad, actually, because that's kind of an empty life. And kind of going back to what I said earlier, The Wolf of Wall Street is a really funny film. The characters, they're so cranked up to 15. I mean, the film says, fuck 11, let's go to 15, and that's exactly what this film does. Some people, again, won't like this. I, on the other hand, absolutely enjoyed it. To kind of sum it up, the characters in The Wolf of Wall Street act like they're on spring break 24/7. So basically, if the idea of a bunch of grown businessmen and women making complete asses of themselves in an office setting while selling stocks, if that sounds funny to you, then you'll probably find this movie funny. And not only that, but it also doesn't hurt either when I found the screenplay to be one of the best of the year, because it's very snappy, it's pretty damn hilarious, and it is so incredibly outrageous. And overall, I just found the dialogue to have just a lot of really good beats. Now, one thing I did mention at the very beginning of my review, but I didn't talk about him at all, is of course the legendary Martin Scorsese. He of course is known for making movies like Taxi Driver and The Departed, And one of my all-time favorite films, you may have heard me talk about it at some point, is Goodfellas. Now, if you've seen my American Hustle review, you may have noticed that I did talk about, the comparisons between Goodfellas and American Hustle, and there are some in the actual film. It's not very thick, but there are little bits and pieces that are reminiscent of Goodfellas. Not a bad thing in my opinion, actually a pretty positive thing. But The Wolf of Wall Street has a lot of Goodfella-isms in it, and I'm going to talk about that. Now, if Goodfellas were like a coked-up comedy and followed stockbrokers instead of gangsters, it would probably come out something similar to The Wolf of Wall Street. For instance, there are heavy doses of narration by Leonardo DiCaprio's character. It's very similar in the style of Ray Liotta's in Goodfellas. And two, both films are based off of real events and real people. And thirdly, the narrative is presented in a very similar fashion as well. As for the performances, they're all really good. Leonardo DiCaprio is really funny. This is probably the funniest I've seen him. I don't think I've seen him actually act the way he does in this film. He does some pretty messed up and crazy things. I mean, you just kind of have to see it. And it's really the fact that it's Leonardo DiCaprio doing all these things that makes it all the more funnier. So for that, I really liked him in this. But the second and last person I want to talk about is Jonah Hill. And I think this is his best performance. I really do, because he dons this voice and accent that just really kind of fits his character. And not only that, but his character just looks funny as hell. As for the problems, I do have a couple. The biggest one is, though, it's just simply too long. The film clocks in at, I believe, around 3 hours. And I really do believe the film would have perhaps benefited more if it were cut 25 minutes, because there's a nice little middle section that I do believe kind of dragged on a little too much. But that's really kind of it. As for the second one, and this is a very minor one, but it is something that I did notice, is the inconsistencies in the tone. There are bits and pieces in the film where the film will just like flip a switch from being like this black, whacked out comedy to being sort of a drama. Although these dramatic scenes were well executed and were very welcomed, there's a scene towards the end of the film that's made up of pure excellence. It's really sort of the way these films are placed is what makes these scenes feel slightly on the disjointed side. But again, it's not bad. It's just kind of noticeable. Overall, The Wolf of Wall Street is not only an intelligent film with a lot to say, but it's also a lot of fun. It's really funny, and if you're someone who likes good satires, then you'll probably enjoy this film. I'm going to give The Wolf of Wall Street a very enthusiastic 4 out of 5. So with all that said, I'm Colyn Kirkland, wishing everyone out there a Happy New Year, and thanks for watching.